Thank you for joining me for day 48 of my 365 days of crafting. Today I'm going to show you how to make this crochet and felted headband.
What you will need for this project is some 100% wool yarn, the color of your choice. You will need a size I crochet hook. Now that's a larger size crochet hook than the package on the yarn calls for. Because we're felting it, we want our stitches to be looser. And then some buttons. I'm using these vintage buttons. You can use brand new buttons. Just find a cute button that matches your yarn. So we are going to start by making a chain. And you just want to make a loop with your yarn. And then put the yarn underneath the circle. Put your hook in and pull. And you want this to be kind of a loose chain because we are going to be felting it and it's going to tighten up. So I'm going to chain 30 for a child's headband and 40 for an adult's. Okay, so once you've done your 30 chains, what you're going to do is I'm going to hold in place the last chain that I did, and I'm going to chain 3 more. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a slip knot where I just go into that chain that I was holding, yarn over, and pull through both loops. And then you're going to have the beginning of your headband. Then I'm going to chain 2, turn it over, and then into the 3 chains I'm going to do double crochet, and I'm going to double crochet 3 times. Then I'm going to go ahead and chain 2 again and turn it over. And then I'm going to increase this by working 3 double crochets into the 3 stitches and then a double crochet into the second chain that I added on with. So I'm going to go double crochet, and I'm going through both hoops on the stitch. I'm going to go ahead and work that in, and then I'm going to go into that second chain, and that is how I'm going to increase. So every single row I'm going to go ahead and work into the stitches that I stitched and then work 1 into that chain. So I'm going to keep increasing until I get 12 across. So I'm going to go ahead and keep doing that, adding a stitch with each row. So see how it's progressing? Now I have up to 11 stitches across. So this is going to be my last row, and I'm just going to do 12 stitches across. So that's my 11th stitch across. So again, I'm going to just use that first chain of the row I started previously as my 12th stitch. And then for the little girl's headband, I'm going to do 12 stitches across. I'm not going to use the chain again. We are going to do 5 rows of 12 stitches across, and then we'll start decreasing. So once you have your increased stitches to 12 and then 5 additional rows, what you're going to do is do the decrease. And we are going to chain 2, and we are simply going to skip the first stitch on each row until we get down to 3. So I'm going to skip that first stitch and just double crochet across, and then once I get to the end of this row, I'll chain 2 and then skip the first stitch and continue until you get down to 3 double crochets. So once you get down and you've done 3 double crochets across, we're going to go ahead and chain 2, and we're going to skip a stitch and do 2 double crochets, and then we're going to chain 2, and we are going to do 1 double crochet, skipping the first stitch again, and then we're ready to chain 30. So when you get to the end of your 30, you're just going to go ahead and cut off your yarn and just pull it out, and make sure you pull it tight. When you felt this, you want to make sure it's not going to unravel, so you want to make sure the ends are pulled tight, and then there you have your headband before felting. We're going to go ahead and set that aside and make a flower. For felting instructions, please go to my blog at zuliblue.blogspot.com. The video would be way too long if I showed you how to felt it on the video, so I will have the instructions on my blog for you to view. So once you're done felting, your headband and your flower will look like this. And what I like to do is just take a towel. I like to lay it out and kind of shape it first. It actually came out pretty good. And then what I like to do is just take a towel and blot it really well, and then let that dry completely.
And then simply stitch your button and your flower to your headband slightly off to the side.
So thank you for joining me for day 48 of my 365 days of crafting. I hope you have fun making your headbands. They're great gifts. And you might want to play around with the yarn a little bit. These two were made with the exact same pattern, but with different yarns, and they felted up completely different. So just play around with it. It takes very little yarn to make one of these. And have fun, and I will see you tomorrow.